Good evening, everybody. My name is Heidi Shorter, and I am currently an elementary school technology teacher in Howard County, Maryland. So I just want to thank everybody for joining tonight. So we are in the month of November right now, and so I thought it would be apropos to do a little thankful for Wixie, because I am so thankful to have such an amazing tool to be able to use at my school and with my students. And so I started off here with one of the books because, and as I go through my book here, I started out and I decided to do my presentation using some templates that Wixie offers. And that is my first reason that I am so thankful for Wixie, because of the plethora of templates that are out there. There's actually, I've even talked about on a webinar before about just an entire webinar on just the templates themselves. So there's so many templates, there's so many categories. And tonight, two of the templates that you see right here, the book templates. So the books are new, and I wanted to use something new in this webinar. So I have my presentation here in our book template. And then I also use the thankful template that is also in there for the month of November, just to showcase two of the templates right here on this screen. And then you see just the picture of the library of templates and all of the different categories. And then I just wanted to also share a few of my favorite templates and how we've used them in the past. So excuse my dog, he's been quiet for, the past hour and a half, and now it's time for me to talk and he's gonna bark. But anyway, so the templates on the left are templates that I pulled straight out of Wixie and just showcased how we've used them here not here, but at my school. So the first one is the Who Am I template, and it's something we like to start out with our intermediate students. And and I tell the students I don't want them to use the camera, I want them to take a picture. We did add a couple other categories here in the Who Am I that we used at school. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry about my dog. But then we play a little game with it. So the kids kind of take their time and work on their category or on their template for Who Am I? And then I go into the student category and I kind of cover up the names, and then I open my screen of my projector and we showcase a Who Am I? And I say to kids, don't use a picture, just use some painting tools and see if you can guess who it is. And they always do a really nice job with that one. And then the other one next to Who Am I is a template that's just all about me. But here's a way that fourth grade teachers at my school have used this, and I have shared this with Wixie before, but this is a reading identity. So it's a chance for the teachers to get to know a little bit about what their students like to read. And so it's different genres and different poems and different things that students like to read. You know what? I think I'm going to have to go let my dog out. Give me 1 second. I am so sorry. I will share the link for this webinar with everybody at the end. And then also within the webinar, all of the templates that you see here are also linked. So when you get the link for this main presentation, you will also have the links for all of the templates that I have in here. And then the one on the right, these are two templates that we actually made ourselves at my school. So we do a lot with internet safety and digital citizenship in my curriculum. As a technology teacher, we're not only teaching technology skills, we're also teaching those digital citizenship skills about how to behave online, what to watch out for. And we start that as early as kindergarten. So this internet safety template that we use, with younger learners, if you can add motion, if you can add, content all together with the youngest learners, they really do remember things much better. So on this one, we actually have the kids take their picture. And so I keep myself safe until they put their hands up, and we talk about using neighbors to help us with our pictures, and we teach them how to use the camera. But I keep safe all of my private information when I'm online or when I'm on a computer. I keep away from internet or any strangers, and I keep telling someone when I go online to try to help avoid that, sneaking onto a device or doing something that they're not supposed to do. And so this little internet safety template that you see here, here's the blank template and here's the example at the bottom. But that's just a sample of how we can use it with our youngest learners through digital citizenship. And then the next one is also a digital citizenship activity where we talk about screen and non-screen activities. And so we really try to identify with the kids, healthy parts of screen time, and then also ways to keep yourself active and not just always on a screen. And so this is a 3-page template that we have the sorting on the first page, and then the next 2 pages, the first page we use Wixie background, and we have the kids identify what are things that I can do inside in my house that don't have to do with the screen. And so you can see here this student, and I don't have the link to this student's actually personal projects in here. I just have the link to the blank template, but you can kind of see here the student was doing music and pulled out little instruments and friends together that they can do inside when they're not on a screen. And then the third page is actually a Wixie background that has the outside, and, you know, draw a picture of things that you can do outside that do not involve a screen. So it really brings that digital citizenship to the kids and their attention. And then it also uses some of the Wixie tools. And you can see here it's friends that are playing together, playing basketball, and enjoying each other's company and time outside, just to help with the balance of that screen time. Keep going on why I am thankful for Wixie. So that brings me to the H of my acrostic poem for thankful and why I'm thankful for Wixie. So I put just the word help in there because there's so many different ways that Wixie can help. And the first way I kind of wanted to highlight is just the Tech4Learning staff and the way they keep providing help for teachers and providing ways that they can assist us with using Wixie in the classroom. So if you've noticed this year, when you log in on the left-hand menu bar, there is a Wixie 101, and it's just filled with ideas for lessons and help and how you can use it at every different grade level. And if you haven't taken the time to kind of go through some of those folders, they are so helpful. And it's such a nice asset to have there in Wixie, just to help us with our planning in such busy times, to just have so many ideas right there at your fingertips when you log into Wixie. It's such a big help. And then also it's such a help too, to be able to give feedback to students right in Wixie. So here's just a little screenshot, and I know it's a little tiny bit blurry, but it's a way that you can give students feedback right in Wixie. You can comment on their stuff. They get a little notification when they log back in that the teacher has commented. You can even add rubrics and go over the rubrics with the students so they know what you're looking for, so they can see what they need to do. It's just so helpful. It's such a great teacher tool to be able to use because of all of these ways that they add these things in Wixie to make our lives as busy teachers just so much easier. So not only in Wixie are they so helpful, but Tech4Learning is also very active in so many of our digital platforms. So the YouTube channel, if you've ever seen some of the past webinars or videos that they've created about ease of use of Wixie, they're active on LinkedIn. Creative Educator is such an amazing asset that gives you so many different ideas. There's a couple ideas that I'm going to share in a little bit that I got from Creative Educator. And they're also very active on social media. So I popped into social media today and I kept seeing reminders about the webinar and other announcements or other really cute, just quick ideas. And so it's all just so helpful because they have so many different pieces of information in so many different ways to help us with, you know, if we're online or if we're using YouTube or if we're actually just in Wixie. So the help that they offer to make our lives easier as teacher is just amazing. And I'm so thankful for that. So that brings me now to the A. So the access to the different tools that we have in Wixie just make so many of the projects and the things that the kids can do just that much richer and that much different and so much more geared to each student and what they can do. So I do have a picture here of all of the different tools that I'm referring to here. And then I have some samples of some templates and the way that we actually teach the students the tools. So, you know, you can take older kids who have learned tools and you can say, okay, here, show me what you know. And I have a little bit of an example of that coming up. But for the younger students, sometimes what we do, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this one so you can see, but what we might do, and this was one that we did in the spring last year, but it was use your Wixie tools to show us and what you see when you are in springtime. And so what we did is we used one of the templates that has the 9 boxes, but we actually take the stickers from Wixie right there in the image category, and we kind of suggest to the younger students which tool we want them to use, just so that we can start to teach them the tools and so they can see what's out there and see what's available to them right in Wixie. It doesn't just have to be the paintbrush tool. It doesn't just have to be a text box. You can actually, on those boxes, just give a little teeny picture of the image that you want the student to use so that you know they're getting that experience using some of the different tools in Wixie, so that when they get older, they can actually be more comfortable with the tools because you know that they've used them. So we've done that in a couple different ways and in a couple different categories where we've put image in, you know, here we've like use image, or you can use the paintbrush. Make sure you use the spray can here, use text box here, so that they can get that chance to work with those different tools. And then this one is a template. It's called Map of My Heart. So we read a book in kindergarten. It's called the Map Book, and we usually do this one around February. And so we stop reading the book when it comes to Map of My Heart, and we kind of take that and we have the students create a map of their own heart. And so we have some suggestions for words down there that they can put that belongs to their own heart. So this is the blank template that you can see here. And then on my presentation, you can actually see the filled in template. So you can see they've used the paint can, they've used the stickers, they've kind of moved them, they've resized them and put them into different categories, showing that they know how to use a lot of the tools. And then this one, I love this one because we actually started this one, I think, before some of the shutdown and some of the germ sharing that was happening a couple years ago in school. But this is for young students to actually teach them the spray can tool. So we talk about ways that you can be germ-free. And then on page 2 and 3, we just took pictures of hands and we added little images of germs. Let me go down here to page 3 so you can see. So we had little images of germs, and then we show them how if you go to the spray can tool and we teach them the different categories, and I believe it's the flower category. Yep. So there is soap that they can spray on so that they can get rid of all their germs. And then down underneath, there is water. So if you add soap and water, look at that, your germs disappear. So we just talk about how important it is to use soap and water to get the germs off of your hands. And then on the last page, they get to use the camera, and they can put a picture of themselves in there saying that they're going to keep their hands clean. And then they just have to delete the word that doesn't belong, and they can use the paint tools to decorate and make their health book about having access to being germ-free and how to best do that themselves. So the kids love it. It's a great way to teach the different categories and the different spray paint. So the access to all of the different tools and the way the students can use them to show what they know is just amazing. And I'm very grateful to that and all that Wixie offers with their tools. So next is N, and I think Tiffany just put that in the chat, but the number of images that are available to students and to teachers that are in the Wixie library under the image category and also under the picture category. There are so many and so many categories to choose from. I mean, sometimes I almost have to narrow it down for the kids, and just an FYI, you can just give kids a specific category of a certain image library that you want them to use, because there are so many, and it can become so overwhelming for the students when they're going through. But the amount of images that are in there and pictures that are in there, and the fact that they're always being updated, is just brilliant. And for me, as a teacher, when I need to make something, or, you know, like if I want to put a sign up in my classroom, I think there was a basket of headphones and I didn't want anybody to use them. I made this sign in Wixie, and it was like, please use these headphones. And I had a picture of the headphones because they belong to technology class. And I was able to pull a picture of the headphones. I didn't have to worry about copyright or anything like that. It was at my fingertips. I printed it out and I used it because I knew I could. And so the amount of images and the number of images that are available to teachers and to students is just amazing. And the nice thing that goes back to the help part, if you have an image that you're interested in and you actually can't find it, you can email one of the Tech4Learning staff and they will do their best to get images in there as quickly as possible. I've done it myself and it happens fairly quickly. So they're always listening, they're always willing to help, and always adding images to that library, which is amazing, because it's, like I said, you don't have to worry about any kind of assigning, like they're image free that you can use in any of your projects, and the kids too. So that is the N for my thankful. So K brings me to different ways that kids can choose. And so we all know right now that voice and choice in anything that kids are doing for learning is very big. And there are so many different ways to add choice to Wixie. So here in where you see the digital tool little picture at the top of this template, so we were talking, again, this is all digital citizenship, and it was with second graders. And so the object of the lesson was to teach the students about norms, which is really hard for kids to understand, because a norm is just, something general that we follow as a group and as good citizens, but it's not necessarily a rule. Like if you break the rule at school, it's kind of trying to connect what is a norm in society with what rules are at school. And so up at the top, it talked about there are rules and norms when we use digital tools in school. And so up at the top, it says, why do we use them? What are they for? What is the purpose? And then the norm is what, is kind of out there that kids need to learn about. So the norm was to complete your work to the best of your ability, no matter what digital tool you're using. And then their job was to explain, how does the norm help with using that digital device? And so in talking about teaching the younger students the tools, here's an example where at the bottom, again, I just went into the image category and chose some tools because I wanted the kids to have a choice. If you want to type up a reason or your response to what this question is, please use the typing tool. If you want to just record and tell me why that rule is important, you can use the record tool, or you can make a video. You don't have to do all three, and you don't have to do just, you can pick. And so it gives those kids some kids can sit there and tell you what the rule is or what the reasoning is that they want to describe, but they just don't have the typing skills yet. And so Wixie is, allows them to choose that they can maybe just record it. Some kids love to make the videos. They want to get in there. They want to see their face. They want to add it in there. And so by giving them the choice when they have activities, and so I've been starting to do that a lot when I have Wixie and they have to respond or if they have to create something, to try to just remind them by putting those little icons down at the bottom of the page. Just remember, you can use any of these tools, just to give them that prompt so that they're not stuck with some of the different ways that they are typically always answering. They do have a choice, and there's other ways that they can respond. And then, of course, is the choice boards. And so if you go into the template categories and you go under curriculum and idea boards, again, this is something else that is so helpful from Wixie. It is always changing. They are always adding choice boards, and it's such a great way for kids to have the choice of what they want to do and how they want to continue with the topic that you're using. We also at my school like to make our own choice board. So up in this top right-hand corner, this is a choice board that we made just for our first graders. So we, in my county where I work, we have a established typing program, but it starts in second grade. So second graders and fifth graders at my school have a typing program, and they come in, or they can do typing practice in their homerooms, but they do have time each week that they can go in and do typing practice. But the littles still also need some typing, some kind of practice or something to get them familiar with the keyboard. I had a student last week that was like, I don't think there's an S on my keyboard. I'm like, no, I promise there's one on there. You just have to look around. I look towards the left. But some of these activities and games, so when they're finished their work, I'll put this choice board in there. And so if you click on this choice board, all we do, because you can also add outside links in your Wixie, so these will just link to different activities online. And it's a really safe way to get the students to a website that you want them to use, or that is something that you approve of, but they can get there safely. They know how to go to Wixie, they know how to open their assignment, and then they can just click into, into the activity, and it takes them right into the safe place online that you can go, that they can do their activity. So we use the choice boards like that a lot. And again, I make my choice board by going into the templates and looking for the 4-box template. I take a screenshot from the website and I link it right there in Wixie. And just a hint, if you lock your image, when it has a link on it, it will actually, when the kids click, will take them right to that site. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not locked, they have to kind of click the link on the right-hand side of the menu bar. So it's just a little tip that if you do want to put a link so that kids can go right to it, make sure you lock your image or lock your text that you've linked, and the kids will be able to click right on it. So that is Kids' Choice, and I'm very thankful for that in Wixie. All right, so that brings me to F. So this is a little selfish here, but this is the way and the function that I use Wixie that I think is a little different, but I think is been a really easy way for me. So these are subplans for me. So obviously, as teachers, there are days that we do need to take off. And I don't want to give the kids just busy work. I don't want to give them something that's not going to kind of continue on with some of their skills. So I use Wixie a lot for my subplans. And so this top one where it says Georgia Aquarium, so this was a third grade subplan, and literally in your subplans you can say to the sub, put the kids in Wixie, you assign it in Wixie, and they can see what's there. Now on these, I don't have a video of me, but I also will do that with my littles. So I have the kids log in, they'll go to Wixie, their assignment pops up, they'll open it, and there'll be a video from me explaining what they need to do. So even though I'm not there, they still see me, they still hear my voice, and they still know what to do. So it's easy to do that with the video button in Wixie. But this one was third grade. So for this one, the kids clicked on the picture and they got to take a trip, virtual field trip to the Georgia Aquarium. So they got in the, I gave them a certain amount of time. I think it was 15 minutes to kind of search through the aquarium. And again, that picture is locked. So the link goes right to the Georgia Aquarium where they can look around and see things and check things out. Then they come back to Wixie, and I pulled in the template that Wixie has that is the postcard. And they had to make a postcard picture for a teacher, a parent, a friend about their trip to the Georgia Aquarium I always tell them we're going on a field trip and you don't need a permission slip. So, and it doesn't cost any money. So here you can see, here's a sample of a student who kind of drew a picture of or created with the stickers and the background tools because they know they have the access to all the tools. They created the postcard at the top and then the message at the bottom. So this one didn't get to it, but they even design their own stamps when they make their postcards. So that's pretty fun. And then this next one, I think I actually might have gotten this idea from Creative Educator. So this is another one that I did for subplans. I think this was second grade. So this is a great book here that's called Be You, and it's such a great read for the students. And the video, so because you can add YouTube videos right in there. So this video right here is the author actually reading the book Be You. And then at the bottom, I had the kids say, okay, pick 3 of the messages that you heard in Be You and add them at the bottom. And again, when I do this year, I think what I might do is add that video and text and record button again, because this is the one that I did last year. But I'm like, oh, I think I want to give them the choice because some kids don't like to type, even though it's not too hard to just type be this or be that. Plus they do get to watch the video and they can pause the video. So if it says be adventurous, they don't know how to spell it, or if it says be creative, they can pause there and know how to spell it. And then create a picture of them using any of the tools about how they are going to be one of the things they put on that first page. And so here is a person or one of the students saying they'd be adventurous. They use the spray paint tool. They're digging their way out through the grass. And it's so cute. You can't really see it on this picture, but there's an arrow down there. And next to the picture that they drew of themselves, it actually says me, in case I didn't know it was them. So that's a picture of them being adventurous. And again, that was just an easy subplan to put together. The subplan says to the kid, for the substitute, put the kids in Wixie, they log in, their assignment is right there. So it's just a different function and a way that I can use Wixie that I'm very grateful and thankful for. So, all right. And as you can see here, my U for being thankful is just so many of the useful tools that I know I've kind of pointed out and talked about already. But again, this is just another screenshot of all of those useful videos that they put in this year from the grade levels. But also, it's pretty useful. And this is funny. This is a choice board that Wixie has about PD. So in my school, I know as a technology teacher and the kids coming to me, I'm using technology and I'm using Wixie all the time. But all the teachers in the school have access, and I want the teachers to learn it too. And so this Wixie PD party that Wixie has designed is amazing and can be a really cool way for your teachers to do like a PLC or figure out ways that they can learn some of the tools that are out there. And they have it in all these different categories. And then you can go through and it actually explains to the teachers what they start with, how they can do it. There's a video lesson on it. There's a sample. I mean, it is just so useful and so helpful. And so that one is very pretty. But I also made a choice board for teachers for a PLC in my school as well. So we are doing, we're doing a lot of learning about ELL, or in my school now it's called ML for multi-language learner. Some of the icons are always changing. And so we're talking about making learning profiles for students about a student. So if we have a student in our room or that we work with that is ELL or ML, to really start to get to know that student. And so the teachers, I was sitting at a table and they were talking about creating a learning profile. And one of the teachers leaned over to me, being the tech person in the building, and they said, can you help us with some templates or something with this? And so I just created this little board here. And 2 of the learning profiles that teachers can make are using Wixie and using web. So the teachers can use it just like the students would. And these are linked right to the templates for the web. And then we also use the G Suite applications in my building. And so these link to, because of the URL links that we're allowed to add, these actually link to G Suite documents and the templates in G Suite. So it's a choice board for teachers to get the teachers in there, you know, taking the idea from what Wixie offered and kind of incorporating it. Theirs is much prettier and it has all the pictures. But just a way that I used a choice board as a useful tool to help out with teachers. So I am getting close to my time here. So as you can see, I really do love Wixie and the different ways that you can use it and all of the various templates and all the help they give, the tools, the images, the way there's choice, different functions that you can use it. And I just love this quote. I've used it before, but if we don't let kids foster their creativity, we really are stifling some of their learning. And so Wixie is just such a great tool and a great way for kids to be creative with so many different tools and in so many different ways. And I'll be honest, it's actually really tapping my creativity as an educator as well, because I can try to play and learn with some of these tools. And so my last page is another Wixie tool that I learned last year. So you can save some of your, you can save into an animated GIF now. So here's my little acrostic poem as an animated GIF, just highlighting all of the different ways that I love Wixie, and I'm so thankful for Wixie and all that it offers.